Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to Yes or No. This is the 45th video so far. This was supposed to happen 3 hours ago, but unfortunately, my fatigue from work prevented me from doing so. Plus, I had KFC for lunch, so that kind of took me out as well. So here I am doing it an hour before I do Toon Blast. Just kind of the most risky thing, and still I put a poll up for Gacha Club later tonight since nobody is voting on whether I would you guys like for me to do Gacha Club tonight. I'm just gonna do it anyway, so don't worry about the poll. So without further ado, let's begin. First question: Has you nose ever bleed? Dude, who developed this game? That developer of this game, you made a typo in this. Has you nose ever bleed? No, my nose hasn't never bled. 70% says it has. 30% says it hasn't. Well, it's been a long time since the last time I had a nosebleed. It was like decades ago. Alright, we're gonna move on. Do you have Spotify Premium? No. 23% says they do. 77% says they don't. If I ever own a Spotify, I have to I don't trust having Spotify because I don't want to download music illegally. Otherwise, I'll end up in the big house, you know what I mean. Can you hold your breath for 30 seconds? Actually, no. I don't think I trust that. 67% says they can. 33% says they can't. Well, I can, unfortunately, because I might actually suffocate for 30 seconds and I'll surely die. And as for that 67%, you guys are probably the pinnacles of holding your breath. I mean, 67%, I mean. Let's continue. Do you like Jennifer Lawrence? Uh, I guess so. I guess I'll just say that. 25% says they do, 75% says they don't. I just spat on my phone. But anyway, well, as much as I don't know who Jennifer Lawrence is, I've heard of her a few times before, but I guess I do kind of like her, apparently. Do you have a trampoline? No. 41% says they do, 59% says they don't. Well, I don't know if I have a trampoline. I never owned a trampoline. I don't even have a trampoline. And because if I did, I would invite some friends over. I would invite my cousins, my little cousins, my nieces, nephews, whoever, and just have a fun time on a trampoline. Except for Josiah, I don't want to hurt him. Ah, jeez. Do you smoke? Frick no. 10% says they do. 90% says they don't. I don't smoke. It's bad for my lifestyle. I don't trust myself smoking. It's bad for my lungs. And as for that 10%, they're probably uh, they're probably smoke addicts or something. They're probably weed smokers or something. Smoke weed every day apparently. Do you always have an alarm set to wake yourself up in the morning? Absolutely. 36% says they do. 64% says they don't. I do. Every Thursday and Friday, when I get up for work, I get up at 6. 30, of course. Can you whistle? Yes, I can. 57% says they can, 43% says they can't. Don't believe me? Let me show you. See? Getting better. Getting better. Yeah, I'm just getting better. Uh, are you from the United States? Heck yes. 52% says they are. 48% says they aren't. Of course I'm from the United States. I'm a real American here. And as for that 48%, they're from Mexico or Canada or Brazil. They're probably from another country. All right. Have you had a near death experience? No. 39% says they have. 61% says they haven't. Well, I never did anything that would absolutely kill me. So, I guess I'm in the clear. Have you ever had a selfie with someone famous? Yeah, no. 29% says they have. 71% says they haven't. Well, as for that 29%, you're freaking lucky. You must have got freaking lucky. But as for that 71%, don't meet your idols, but your time will come. Do you read comic books? No, I don't. 35% says they do. 65% says they don't. Well, I don't read books anymore. I don't read comic books. I don't read novels. I don't read anything anymore. I'm not a book reader no more. I'm done with books. Are you allergic to any animals? Well, I'm gonna be straight honest with you. I'm gonna have to say yes. 19% says they are, 81% says they aren't. Well, Mom always said I was allergic to Jax, but apparently I don't give a dang. Jax and I are brothers. It doesn't matter if I'm allergic to him. We're still brothers. Do people ignore your text? Well, no. 52% says they do. 48% says they don't. Well, I hear, well, even when people text me when I'm asleep, it happens when I'm asleep. Heavily. Well, you know. Just don't have a comment. Are you wealthy? Yes. 36% says they are. 64% says they aren't. Well, I don't say that I'm wealthy, but I am wealthy. I just wish somebody would just know. You know what, let's just continue. Have you ever dumped someone? Yes. 35% says they have. 65% says they haven't. Well, I did it in 29. I did it in late 2019. That's why I'm with Kaylee. I dumped I dumped my ex in 2019. That's why I'm with Kaylee. Have you ever had a pillow fight? No. 80% says they have, 20% says they haven't. Well, as for that 80%, they probably have much fun at sleepovers. Well, apparently I'm alone. Nobody sleeps with me in bed. Well, except for Jax, apparently. Alright, guys. It's 10 minutes in the video, and you know what that means? It's time for the top 5 questions, and here's number 5. Do you have any regrets? Actually, yes. 64% says they do, 36% says they haven't. Remember back at that 2021 year-end live stream? The absolute regretful? So, I've had my regrets. I regret being a jerk to Kaylee last year. That's why this year I'm trying to be a better boyfriend. Number 4. Does a person's looks matter at all? I don't know what kind of question that is, but I guess it doesn't. 39% says it does. 61% says it doesn't. Well, I honestly don't know what to say. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess it probably doesn't matter to me. Like, Kaylee loves me for who I am, not for my looks. And I love her for who she is. Number 3. Do you wear a seatbelt in a car? Of course I do. 79% says they do. 21% says they don't. Well, as for that 21%, you're putting your life in danger. You're putting your life in jeopardy. Always put a seatbelt on. Or else you're gonna get hurt. Or worse, dead. Number 2. Do you believe in aliens? No. 31% says they do, 69% says they don't. I believe that aliens are just nothing but a total myth anyway. Nothing too personal. Alright, guys. It's now time for the number 1 question. And that is... have you ever rode in an ambulance? And the answer is no. 28% says they have. 72% says they haven't. I never rode in an ambulance because I'm never injured, I'm never sick, and I am most definitely going to keep it that way. Alright, that's it for yes or no. Hope you guys enjoyed. Now I gotta prepare for not Jules Fantasy. Now I gotta prepare for Toon Blast in the next few minutes. So, if you'll excuse me, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do something, and I'll see you in a few minutes.